Hey there, hope you're having an awesome trip. Yeah, hope that the weather is great and that the vacation has been really nice. I'm sort of rearranging my room for this first video just so that I can sort of show you some of those little exercises that we had talked about in our previous lesson. So I know you had mentioned just wanting a breakdown of the ones that we talked about, just to sort of help out with remembering how they work and all that sort of thing. So the reason I have the table set up so strangely is to show you the first exercise. So this was by placing your arm flat on a surface, like a table or a countertop or whatever you have around you, or a music stand. Doesn't really matter. Hold your hand at an angle so it's not face down. You don't want your hand to be face down because when you bow, that's not really the true angle of your wrist. And you also don't really want it to be completely sideways because you're not really bowing like this. You're bowing right in between. It's like a bit of a 45-degree angle. So you don't have your palm flat. It's just sort of resting as you would normally put your arm on a table. Because you don't normally put your hand flat down like this. You kind of have it resting up in this sort of position anyways. So imagine that you've got a ball in your hand and you're tossing it to the ground and catching it back up. Down, back, down, back. And your fingers should flay out as you do that rather than just go like this. You want your fingers to also be flexible in this motion. Now it's important your arm is secured so that when you're doing this, it's nice and relaxed. Okay, so once we've got that down, the next step is to have the bow in our hand when we're doing it. Now, what you may end up having to do, this is kind of an awkward position for me to try this in, but if you put the back of your hand, or the palm of your fingertips on the back of your bow, you're going to help to keep your bow straight. So as you're doing this, you'll see, I'll bring it up so you can actually see my fingers. My fingers are also shifting the same way that they did. So this helps to secure your arm so that you're getting used to that feeling of having your fingers move with your bow. Now, once you're comfortable with this one I call the sword fighter exercise. Once you're comfortable with this, you want to try to do the same without your hand there. It's much harder this way. So we start with this one just to make sure that everything is nice and comfortable. You can do this with a pencil or a ruler. It doesn't really matter. The idea of the motion is still there. So that's for wrist stuff. Those are my wrist exercises. Once we've got those down, the next step is to try to strengthen our actual wrist itself. So this next exercise is one that I love, the windshield wiper. You've got it right in front of you. Make sure your arm is completely straight in front of you. Now, when you turn your hand up like a windshield wiper, the important thing is you're not twisting, you're not jarring your hand. You want to feel your forearm move with your wrist. So the motion is starting at your pinky and your thumb. So your pinky and your thumb are what are guiding this movement as opposed to your wrist. It's your pinky and your thumb. So when you're doing it, do it very, very slowly and go all the way up. And you're going to feel a lot of very specific muscles sort of groan in frustration with this exercise. That's a good thing. Once you go all the way, you're going to turn it around and go back. It's harder on the way back. The temptation is just to do it quickly. Don't let yourself do it quickly. Take it really, really slow. And I would say for now, keep it to about 2 or 3 of these. Don't do more than that. Once you've got that, you're going to feel, particularly in your forearm, it's a really, really awkward motion, particularly in this part of your muscle. So be very, very gentle. You don't want to cause tendinitis or anything like that. You're just trying to give your hand the opportunity to get used to strengthening those muscles so that when you go to bow, you have those muscles ready to go. It's not going to be something that comes up for you. We've talked about the bow grip, but just as a reminder, when you're practicing your bow grip, you want to roll your thumb up. So if you watch my thumb from the side, you're rolling your thumb up. You're not holding your bow out flat. You want to make sure your thumb is bent. That's going to be very, very crucial to making sure that your fingers are engaging. Now, in the next exercise I show you, in the next video that I send you, we're going to be looking at major scales. This next exercise is perfect for major scales, because one of the things you're struggling with is making sure your notes are clean. So for this particular thing, let me just set this up a little bit better. Just on open strings, try now to keep your bow as straight as possible. So if you watch my bow, do an open A string for now. I'm doing my best to keep my bow straight. Now it's straying a little bit. But it's pretty good. So when you're practicing this one, you'll see up in this position, I almost, like my hand is like a claw. In the down position, my wrist is bent almost completely like this. Up it's like this, down it's like this. And my fingers are also part of this motion. So that's why these open string exercises are so useful. Because you're forcing yourself to have a strong, sustained sound by having good wrist techniques. You're not just sawing with your arm, right? It's not this. See how much my bow drifts? When I'm not, oh sorry, I'm using my wrist. I don't use my wrist. If you don't use your wrist, your bow will have to, because what's happening is you're making a circular motion. Even if you just watch with your arm sawing, it's a circular motion. So what your wrist is doing is it's taking a circular motion and it's making it a linear one. So you can think of it in similar ways to the way like a train locomotive will turn a linear motion into a forward moving one. That's what your wrist is doing in this case. So the open string exercises are really good for that. You can do the same thing with your major scale exercises in the next video that I send you, but I hope that this helps. Those are 4 or 5 really good starting exercises and good things to just sort of keep track of. So yeah, let me know if this helps and I'll make the next video very soon. Bye.